According to the testimony of Chinedu Onwukwe said that Mazi Simon Èkpá unalived 5 soldiers and 1 police in Aba. Mazi Simon Èkpá unalived 5 soldiers and 1 police officer. Now they ask him, what is your evidence to prove that Mazi Simon Èkpá unalived 5 soldiers and 1 police? He has no proof. No single proof whatsoever. Now, as if that is not enough, the prosecutor said he, or should I say, brought about 8,000 copies of papers, printed papers, that he got from Mazi Simon Èkpá's ex-handle. Nege Kanu today. Wow, Diego. Do you know what the prosecutor did? Zoological Republic is working. The prosecutor went to the Prime Minister's X account and printed some of the videos. Some of the videos where the zoo Janjaweed were running helter-skelter. Some of them have already received the gospel of redemption to leave the Biafra land. The prosecutor went to print all of them and brought it to the court. About 8,000 copies. Now, in the wisdom of the defense counsel, asked the prosecutor, how could you go and print all this? You printed only what you think that is incriminating, but you did not print what caused the images you have just brought. It's like when you are fighting with somebody. You say it's like when you say, I will beat you. You are telling somebody that I will beat you. You know, you cannot just meet somebody and tell that person, I'm going to beat you. Are you paying attention? You cannot just meet somebody and tell that person, I will beat you. It doesn't happen that way. You must have that person must have either told you something or said something to you or even beat you already before you can be able to tell that person, I will beat you. So any place where they want to judge your case that you said, you tell this person you are going to beat that person, they must begin with what happened prior to that very comment. They must begin with what that person said to you before you said, I will beat you. So that is the comment of the defense counsel that ended that very shenanigan. You cannot just go and pray. Why did you not print where they were annihilating the Igbo youths? Why didn't you go and print the videos from Ehamufu? Why didn't you print the video from Aba High School? Why didn't you print the videos from Obibo? Why didn't you print the videos from Okigwe? Why didn't you print the videos from Olo? Why didn't you print the video from LME? Why didn't you print the video from Headbridge or Nature? Why didn't you print the video from Mpo? How many are we going to count? How many are we going to count? So you must go and print those videos before any judge will listen to you. You print those ones, you bring them. So we check the dates of those happenings. And then you tell me if the people are the ones who are supposed to be annihilated like that. You have to go and print them before we begin to talk. and then we'll begin to ask questions.
Okay, that is the update of what is currently happening in court in Mazi Simon Ekpa's court hearing. Now, the final conclusion of that court hearing for Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku is that the court has actually adjourned his case to next week Wednesday. Next week Wednesday for final judgment. They've heard from both sides. They've heard the defendant, and also they've heard the prosecutors, and they've come out with their decision, which they will be giving us next week Wednesday on their final decision on the current case of Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku. Now let us go back to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's court hearing, which has been also adjourned to 19/20, for continuation. But meanwhile, let us give you the full details of what really happened in court. So, the high drama unfolds at Nnamdi Kanu's trial as masked witness testifies before U.S. observers. It was the first time, a U.S. citizen will actually observe, and we observe a court trial or a court witness being masked. These things don't happen in a country where there is law and their laws are upheld. Nigeria, anything goes, anything comes. That is why it was actually a very, it was like a critical point, like what the heck is this, that kind of thing. So they were actually surprised that how can, a witness come into the witness box masked. It is never been done. But in the zoo, anything goes. We continue as the courtroom was tensed and fully packed. Today being 18th June 2025, as the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu resumed, foreign observers, including senior officials from the United States National Center for State Cause, were present to monitor proceedings. All eyes were on the witness for, who continued his testimony under tight security, masked. Their eyes were fixed on him, and they were actually surprised on what was happening. Now, the session began with both the prosecuting and defense team introducing themselves. The presiding judge confirmed that the hearing would continue from where the cross-examination stopped during the last sitting, as witness 4 had not yet completed his testimony. The prosecuting counsel opened by asking, was Benjamin Madubugu detained in Abuja? That was the first question the prosecuting counsel asked. The masked witness for replied, yes, both Benjamin Madubugu and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu were taken to the DSS together. But Nnamdi Kanu admitted in front of us that he was the one in the video and cleared Benjamin of involvement. That is what a true leader does. I've said this over and over again, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a rare gem. Not just that he is a rare gem, he is a man, he's an upright man. That is why he is able, to foresee most of the things in the future. He's an upright man that maintains his stance. One, he's an upright man that consecrates himself, thereby trying not to be part of anything that is incriminating, anything that will bring him down in his spiritual realm. That is why Nnamdi Kanu will never get involved, with some kind of things, lies, rebellious things. And also, he doesn't need to lie. He doesn't need to incriminate anybody. He says things the way it is. And thank God that the witness clarified that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu exonerated Benjamin's involvement and cleared him immediately. Now we continue. However, the judge firmly rejected some documents presented by the prosecution, stating angrily, This court cannot rely on these exhibits. They were obtained unlawfully without allowing the defendant access to a lawyer during the interrogation. Now, the judge is still, clarifying his stance on taking out anything, any document that wasn't being done lawfully. The zoo government think that everything is business as usual. You can just bring up any any unlawful act, unlawful document, and present it to the court, and everything will continue. This man has actually continued to give his stance on that in this whole trial, on the fact that no unlawful document can be presented, in as much as the zoo government are trying to do everything possible to bring down Nnamdi Kanu. Let us still continue. In response, the prosecutor tendered a different document from the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC. Prosecutor, can you identify this document? Witness 4 said yes, it's from NBC, that is the National Broadcasting Commission. They came to inspect a transmitter Nnamdi Kanu brought to the DSS headquarters. I mentioned this issue of transmitter. This has been their new stance against Nnamdi Kanu, that he smuggled a transmitter illegally. So it is no longer an issue of terrorism. They've now changed it to smuggling. So the witness 4 said Nnamdi Kanu, yes, smuggled a transmitter, and they came to inspect a transmitter Nnamdi Kanu brought to the DSS headquarters. Now we continue. The judge now said, does the defense have any objection? Defense counsel said no objections. The court admitted the NBC report as an official exhibit. The cross-examination continued. Now, the prosecutor, what do you know about the transmitter? Witness 4, from what I saw, it was clear that it was meant for broadcasting. But bringing a transmitter into Nigeria without government approval is illegal, and no approval was actually obtained. Now, I think this case is getting interesting because it is no longer an issue of terrorism. They are no longer talking about terrorism now. They are not talking about transmitters again. Now, let's continue with the cross-examination. Now, the prosecutor said, who owns the The prosecutor now asked, who owns the transmitter? Witness 4 said, the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu. Check Vanguard newspaper, 3rd July 2023. It has all the details. Prosecutor, if I show you the publication, can you recognize it? Witness 4 said, yes, I can recognize it. Now, we continue. Though the defense objected to the Vanguard newspaper as being admitted, the judge overruled and marked it as an official exhibit. The prosecution then read an excerpt from the newspaper. It was a written statement supposedly made by one Ozoma Benjamin, also known as Onyearmy'S. Now, the Onyearmy'S testament, where he accused Nnamdi Kanu of sending him to buy 2,000 persons, came up. And in the article, he claimed that Nnamdi Kanu had ordered him, through his superior, to buy or unalive 2,000 people. He said he managed to, unalive 30, but later regretted it. These and many more have been the people who have been accusing Nnamdi Kanu without evidence. It's not about accusing, accusing the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu. It's about having a concrete evidence to back up your accusation. But let us still continue. Now, it's important to note the prosecution is using this as evidence based solely on a newspaper report, not through its own investigation. and the defense did not even object to it, which is clear. These things are just mere accusation. There was no investigation done. If this kind of thing, if you truly said or you believe the fact that Nnamdi Kanu committed this kind of offense according to the testament of the so-called Onyearmy, what you would have done is simple: make your investigations clearly, and hold your concrete evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. But let's still continue on how it got tougher and the heat kept on getting heater in court as the courtroom grew more intense, as the prosecutor moved to the sensitive issue of the Owerri prison break. Prosecutor, what do you know about the attack on Owerri prison? Witness 4. It was ordered by Nnamdi Kanu when asked to explain his own role as a security agent. Witness 4 responded, "My duty is to collect intelligence and report to my superior. I also carry out raids. During a raid on an ESN Eastern Security Network camp, I saw human heads, body parts, and members of the group were eating human flesh." This is actually the most crazy thing I've actually seen on this internet today, man. Is it not the same people that have been giving us all kind of propaganda against Nnamdi Kanu, against Simon Èkpá? You come to the news or social media or their news platform and you hear information that IPOB Eastern Security Camp raided in Okigwe with human flesh being seen, and all that. These are the kind of information that these people are bringing. Information without evidences from their so-called media. Their media that is full of propaganda. This is what these people are tendering as evidence. It is clear, I've said it. If the zoo does not have any evidence, any concrete evidence to make this court trial more interesting, they should quit, because the whole thing is hitting against them and it is becoming embarrassing that we are seeing this kind of thing, or international observers are coming to observe this kind of case, and this is what they are saying against this young man. Even the international observers will even know that this case holds no water. Let us just quit. I'm going. Let us leave this case. It is better you people release this man, because you are only trying to pinpoint or hold a man who did not commit any crime known by law. So after the whole cross-examination and the whole proceeding today in court, the court further adjourned the case to tomorrow and next tomorrow, being Thursday and Friday, for further hearing. Yes, for further hearing. And we are hoping that their further hearing, which is still extending, taking more time, will come to a conclusion, because it is now clear to the whole world, it is now clear, to international communities and observers who came today, to observe the court hearing, that these people, have nothing against Nnamdi Kanu. So, still on the same line, on what is happening in Finland, let me tell you the truth. One of the so-called zoo agents, because it is now clear that the IPOBDOS, that same thing Mazi Simon Èkpá was saying, it has come to reality. We've started seeing the truth. They are working with the zoo government, because nothing you won't tell me. Nothing you won't tell me. Because you are standing as a witness for the zoo government against a fellow Biafran. That is the first thing first. You are standing as a witness for the zoo government against a fellow Biafran. Now, one of the witnesses who was actually who represented the zoo government, to witness against Mazi Simon Ekpa is currently being dragged and exposed by Biafra Unite currently. As I'm talking to you, you can check on his channel. He is dragging him like Tiger Generator currently. And the reality is that man has a lot of loopholes. And if time is not taken, he will end up being in jail. After this whole ordeal. It is not about coming out, to rebel against your people. It is not about coming out to be part of the zoo to prosecute your people. It's about, after they finish using you, what next? That is the big question you should ask yourself. If they finish using you, give you the money and all that, what next follows? You have finally brought destruction against all your family members, not just you and your generation, because it's not just you alone, but both your generation and your family members will all suffer this whole rebellious nature. Now so it be for my mouth when I don't hear live and direct and on all the updated news and information happening today, concerning the double trial, one in Finland and the second one in zoo, of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku. Please make sure you share so that people will really know what happened in court today.